Okay, we are live. Good morning, everyone. I am Brigantia Blackbird of the Blackbird Grimoire, and this is the live rendition of the daily forecast. We'll be doing this today and tomorrow, and then it seems that the videos do have their proper sound and everything goes back to the normal program. However, if you enjoyed hearing the daily forecast live, be sure to let me know either in the live chat or in the comments so that maybe in September I could work something out to do this Monday through Friday. So definitely let me know. But on with the forecast. It is Tuesday, July 30th, 2024. It is the day of Mars, which is the day of sovereignty. We have a waning crescent moon. We are in the midst of Leo season, the Celtic tree month of Holly, salmon season, Saturn retrograde, Neptune retrograde, Pluto retrograde, and Chiron retrograde. And a very grand rising to Arizona Raven, who is faithfully with us. All right, next up, today's astrology. The sun is in Leo, a fixed fire sign representing achievement. The moon is fourth quarter Gemini, mutable air, which is wittiness. Mercury is in Virgo, mutable earth, which represents efficiency. Venus is in Leo, fixed fire, which means to be ardent. Mars is in Gemini, mutable air, which represents being pugnacious. Jupiter is in Gemini, mutable air, representing questing. Saturn is retrograding in Pisces, a mutable water sign, which means we need to redefine our dreams. Uranus is in Taurus, fixed earth, representing renovation. Neptune is retrograding in Pisces, mutable water, which is about spiritual awakenings. Pluto is retrograding in Aquarius, fixed air, which means we need to examine intentions. So a few notes on the retrogrades. Oh, but before we do that, Arizona Raven says live chat is cool, but won't always be able to be here. Depends on sun and if still dark out. Oh, absolutely, 100%. Believe me, I very much appreciate the fact that you make the effort to be here. And again, this is something that I think might be nice for people if it was available, but it just depends upon, how many people are in favor of it, whether or not this might resume in September. And she goes on to say, woe on retrogrades. Well, I hate to break it to you. We have several more to come during this season. I think at some point we do ultimately, well, I know for sure in August there's going to come a point where we have 5 retrogrades. And then I need to recheck what goes into retrograde when, whether we start getting extra active either in September or October. But it's not over yet. We've got a lot to get through. There's going to be a lot of cleaning out the closets. But for the retrogrades we have right now for Saturn, re-examine goals, reconsider commitments, reclaim your authority. The Neptune retrograde, reimagine your dreams, reclaim your sense of mystery, reclaim faith in magic. For Pluto, it's reclaim ability to regenerate, reconsider what deserves your energy, release attachments that do not serve, and for the Chiron retrograde, restore that heroic spirit. Now for the moon phase, for the waning crescent, the keywords are meditation and balance, things that are getting things all set up to where we can renew on the new moon, start with fresh with new intentions, and not have anything, dragging us behind. Now for the Gemini moon, the do's are socialize, network, negotiate. It's all about that communication and working cooperatively with people. The don'ts are unventilated spaces, slow communicators, and manic distractions. Let's talk a little bit about Mars because it does remain feisty and it is looking for opportunities to make a mess in whatever ways that it can. You can expect the Gemini moon to encourage hostilities and to do so with a rather lunatic giggle that you can hear faintly in the air. So just be mindful that this energy is in the air. Also, bear this in mind when you encounter news headlines of the day. Even people who don't study or pay any attention or take astrology seriously, they are still feeling the effects of the energy because the energy exists whether people acknowledge it or not. So if you happen to see things that are a bit extreme or a bit upsetting today, just do so knowing in the context of this represents a moment in time, and it's not necessarily going to absolutely determine the course of how things are going in the future. Sometimes things do appear worse than what they actually are, and it's because of the astrological conditions. So for your own self, just kind of tread carefully, exercise restraint for what you say, how you say it, when you say it, where you say it, all that stuff. And also just practice wisdom. Maybe this isn't the day to have the argument, is all I'm saying. Start no fight, but finish one if it comes to you. Now, next up, for our tarot, we have the Three of Swords. Its keywords are removal, absence, delay, division, rupture, despair. The imagery on this card is pretty self-explanatory. You got three swords going straight through the heart. I think we just instinctively understand exactly what that means. And for the Suit of Swords, think air element, masculine energy, projective energy, the intellect. And for the number three, think the first stage of completion. So again, this is kind of responding, I think, to the Mars and the Moon placements today. Just very, eh, looking for a fight kind of energy, and there could be a lot of hurt feelings today. So again, if a relationship is valuable to you, this isn't the day to really work on any issues you might have, particularly in your marriage, because I mean, every marriage that is 5 minutes past the ceremony, it has its issues because you're dealing with human beings, and it isn't always the right time to address those, or to ask your partner to change, or to work on changing yourself. Sometimes there is virtue in letting sleeping dogs lie, and just today it really seems like one of those days. Now for today's Celtic triad, three things which bring on many invitations: saying little and that wise in structure, quiet mirth without great effort, and behaving always without arrogance. So these admonitions are really, to my mind, are just about being good company. You're a pleasant person to be around. You don't walk into the room and just suck the life out of it. Speaking sensibly, not hogging the floor, being willing to have good humor, be gentle in your amusement, and an absence of arrogance that really is central to good breeding. And if you look at any etiquette book that there is, you won't necessarily find it said in so many words, but that is essentially the meaning of the text. And when we are in company with others, there are standards for each party to live up to. I know that previous generations, at least some portions of them, did their best to throw such ideas out of the window, and we're living with the results. And I think most of us can agree that it's not having the effect that anyone would desire to have. So bringing in some basic good manners, some basic etiquette, that is something that would be beneficial for society as a whole. And of course, it begins with us practicing these things ourselves, holding ourselves to a standard. And then eventually, that does attract other like-minded people to take similar stands to, and they'll be encouraged to also act with good standards. And then the people who want to run around like barbarians, well, it really shows the contrast. Today's magical intention is loneliness, specifically easing loneliness. The color is gray, the plant is the cinquefoil, and cinquefoil is specifically associated with ending loneliness. The animal is the swallow, and the crystal is rose quartz, which again is also about ending loneliness specifically. So learning to endure loneliness is a necessity, because we aren't always surrounded with people we care about and who care about us, every time we happen to really want to be around them. It just doesn't really work that way. But if we can learn to endure that with patience, learn to enjoy our own company, not let it cast us down too far, that will also help us learn how to cultivate relationships. That way, when people are around and we can spend time with them, when there's opportunity to form new acquaintances, that we are mentally prepared to doing that. We're not doing so with an air of desperation, because again, we have already learned how to enjoy our own company. And then you build that up on gradually, and then you discover at one point you aren't lonely anymore. You can be alone and have alone time when you want it, and you can also be around other people and enjoy their company, and just all of the benefits that come from friendships and families and marriages and all that other good stuff. So learning how to adapt to each mode, very beneficial to us. For today's practice, you might honor a sovereignty deity, because it is Tuesday after all. You could examine which of your chakras has improved the least. Probably, if you've been doing the chakra work, that you have you've noticed a few troublesome areas. That's perfectly normal. It is not a reflection on you that they still have room for improvement, let's say. But just be aware of what they are, and when there are opportunities to make some progress, seize those opportunities. Then, which of your astrological natal signs are you the least comfortable with? Yesterday we talked about the comfort zone, and then today we're looking at, okay, where are you not comfortable at all? Or is it a particular series of placements that you don't personally feel comfortable with? Believe me, I get it. I have a few that aren't. That are not positioned as favorably as what I would like, but it's my energy. That's the reality of, and it's part of the makeup of who I am. So, learning how to come to grips for that, looking for ways in which it could be transformed into a good thing, that's one ways to ease that discomfort. If you do a meditation today, you might choose to focus on confidence building. Uh, so much is tearing us down. I think the least we can do to build ourselves back up is to meditate on confidence, why we have reason to have confidence on ourselves. We can't, just conjure these things out of thin air. It always has to have a source. But once we recognize areas in which, I am good at that. I have been competent in that. I got that done. That builds us up. And so that gives us some natural resistance to all of the energies that try to tear us down. And then the last suggestion today is to read a passage from The Art of War. It seems that that suggestion is becoming more and more relevant every single day because there's conflict everywhere. And even if it isn't a matter of actual kinetic warfare, the way people are at odds with each other and just determined to remain at odds, that is not a healthy state of affairs. So learning how to navigate conflict a little bit better, which is ultimately what The Art of War is about, that can only benefit us. See, Arizona Raven says she redid her stones and altars, rose quartz present done yesterday. Very nice. There's nothing like a good refresh on these things. Now for our last of the day, it's the journal prompt. Look at this picture. You see the river flowing. You see how you can't quite see beyond the bend, and there's these high walls, a little arch. What do you think is around that next river bend? And depending upon what you immediately instinctually imagine to be there, that's probably going to be very reflective of your interior state. And exploring that, and why did you make that assumption? Why are you assuming, did you assume it was good? Did you assume it was bad? How is that reflecting upon you? What does that say about the state of your energetic, spiritual, mental, emotional, and even physical health? So there's probably a lot to work with here. And that is essentially what I have for you for today's forecast. I hope you have a wonderful Tuesday. I'm going to be spending the rest of the day recording videos for next week's content and including one video for the new series that's going to be replacing Wicca 303 on Fridays. I'm very excited to wrap up Wicca 303. That has been a 3-year teaching project. It's a very different world and different life situation since I began that series. So it's been interesting and rewarding to do, but I'm also ready for the next challenge. So I do hope you enjoy what I come up with. But that does it for today. Have an absolutely fantastic day. Very good luck to Arizona Raven, who says that it's voting day where she lives. I hope you get a result that is really beneficial to you and your situation in your community, whatever that consists of. I don't know much about politics and other places of the world or even outside my own community, but I hope that things start going well, because we are starting to see people around the world push back against policies and ideas that have been very damaging to them personally and damaging to their communities and even damaging to the land itself. So I'm very hopeful in some ways, despite any corruption that's in the process, despite a lot of the things, because it just seems like a lot of people are just feeling this energy of I'm not having it anymore. And when enough common people feel that way, you can start to see change, even if it is gradual, incremental, and over time, and of course messy and not perfect. There is very much hope, and I think if we learn to cultivate hope for that, it helps move the energy in our right direction. My brother and sister, which is don't need me to tell them this, but where we focus our energies, how we direct our energies, where we spend that, where we put that energy, that increases the likelihood of that thing happening. So if we are constantly focused on all the things that could go wrong, every single problem, that actually feeds energy into the problem without solving it. But if we put our energy into doing, I'm going to do what I can to improve the situation today. I'm going to do something that makes it better today. I'm going to sow the seeds for something getting better today. Then that's where you're putting the energy. That's where the manifestation will ultimately happen. So that's just something to keep in mind, and also for us to kind of keep our own thought processes and emotions in check as we confront, the very serious issues that all of us have to deal with. So, on that note, have a good one, everyone. I will see you here tomorrow again, bright and early. And of course, tomorrow, after the live daily forecast, I will also have a live of the Havamal. And then on August 1st, on Lunasa, everything returns to its regularly scheduled programming. And you get your Lunasa present that I have been busily preparing for you. So, see you back for all of that. And bye for now.